Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on Archive. D-Style here. Um, I was thinking, like, what should I come on here and what should I talk about? And I said, you know what? Let's come on here. Maybe every Sunday night when I get home, I'll do one of these random Q&As. And if you're listening on Archive, by the way, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Right? Even if you're not in the chat, I want to know what do you think. Right? And if you want to leave a comment, go ahead. Make sure you thumbs up the video and hit the notification button. That way you're notified every time D-Style comes on live. All right? So once again, thanks to those joining me live, to those joining me on Archive. Check this out. Right? This is just some random stuff. I have no idea. Swear to God, I have no idea where this video is going to go. It could go nowhere or it can go somewhere, but I have no idea. I'm being 100% honest. All right. I'll start off with a boxing topic, but it can go anywhere. All right. Anywhere you want to take it. Whatever you want to ask, shoot. Okay. Shoot like a bullet, like a gun, that is. All right. Let's see here. I'll give it a little bit of time. Let some people come in. Again, it's Sunday night. This is the 29th of July. All right. Look at this. 29th of July, people. Let's see here. We'll see where this goes. Let me start off with this topic. First of all, some quick boxing topics here. Derek Chisora beating Carlos Takam. I actually didn't even know that happened until this morning, right? I don't know if it happened yesterday, and I just looked up the results. I was like, whoa, that's interesting, right? Like Chisora is still hanging on, all right? I thought that dude was done a while back, but man, I mean, Joshua's recent wins just aren't looking that good. They're just not looking really good. All right. But Chisora, you know, where does he go from here? I like to see Chisora step up and fight somebody here to see if he's done for good. But if you would have told me, though, that in 2018 Chisora would still be around and David Haye would be gone, I would have said you're crazy, especially after their fight. All right. Like David Haye dispatched Chisora, and now he's gone from the sport. You know, ironically, I don't know who wins, like Tony Bellew or Chisora. Like, who wins that fight? You know, like, who wins that fight? That's question number one. If Chisora were to fight Tony Bellew, who wins? Right? Kim Laws is asking me if Deontay Wilder is fighting 3 times this year. Well, look, I mean, it's barely July, right? Well, we're just in July, right? We're going to head to August, so he's going to fight again this year. Is he going to fight 3 times? I don't know. I'm not his manager. I have no idea, all right? I'd like to see him fight 3 times, you know, personally. Why not? Let's get Deontay Wilder working. Let's get him. But let's get him more in the ring more often, right? But to answer your question, Kim Laws, I have no idea. I don't know if he's going to fight 3 times. Who said that? No, I honestly don't know. So go ahead and tell me who said that, and we'll go from there. But I hope it does. But I know the year isn't over. We're not in December. He needs to be note active. All right, he needs to be active. I got you. I agree. All fighters. I think just in general, boxing has an activity problem. Just in general, I want to see boxers be more active. Wilder, in particular, for a heavyweight, he fights pretty often, to be honest. Spence fighting 3 times. Not that it means everything, but historically, the lighter the weight class, the more active the fighters are. Okay? Just the way it is. But yes, I'm glad that Spence is active. And we'll see if we get that Mikey Garcia fight. That'll be interesting. Maybe later this year, early next year. It's the fight they want. I would prefer Mikey Garcia versus Lomachenko, but it looks like they're not going to make that fight. What are you going to do? Canelo's meant more active. I got you. I got you. I interpreted it right. Canelo's, do you like Wilder? Like what's I'm trying to understand what your main point is. I know you think he should be more active, but when you say I thought he's going to fight 3 times this year, what is it about the end of July that's making you, say, I mean, come on, is he going to do it? Like we're just halfway through the year. Wilder could have knocked out 2 more fights, Brazil and a rematch Ortiz. Yep. Well, will he rematch Ortiz? I don't know. I actually want to see him get closer to that Joshua fight, but that might not happen till next year. It's a fan of Wilder. There you go. I think Wilder's fine. I agree that he should be more active, but I don't think he's been that inactive. Like he'll be fine. Wilder will be fine, people. Right? I want to see the. I want to see the. I want to see the Joshua fight. That's what I want to see. But they might do a rematch with Ortiz. You never know. And I think a lot of people are overlooking Povetkin in that Joshua fight. I think Joshua's going to win, but I think people are overlooking him. Kimala's continues. Steven Espinosa said he's going to fight just once more this year in the fourth quarter. All right, so somewhere in October, November, December. Well, I guess that's what he said. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know why they said 3 times and they're not fighting 3 times. It could be a combination of a lot of factors. Maybe they were trying to make some fights happen, Joshua, and it didn't go through. Right? They don't want anything in the way, and now they're just looking at what else they're going to do. And depending on when Joshua wants to fight again, they got to kind of time it right. But that's as good of an answer as I'm going to give you, to be honest. I think it's a timing issue, more than likely. DStyle believes it is a timing issue. If you guys have any questions, it doesn't have to be boxing. It could be political. It could be about Donald Trump. Maybe you have some positive things to say about Trump. Like, yo, DStyle, you don't understand. Trump's a great president, and this is why. Tell me. You know what I mean? And we could go from there. All right. All right. Kim Alas. Well, we all want to see the Wilder AJ fight, but we know that Hearn and AJ are prolonging it. I'd just like Wilder to go for 51-0 and not even worry about AJ. I get where people are getting the 51-0 about, but it really is 50-0, right? It's a heavyweight record. Mayweather doesn't hold the heavyweight record, right? But I get what you mean. Jamie Chavez, what do you think about the whole Hulk Hogan racism stuff? Well, look, there is no doubt that Hulk Hogan said some pretty racist things. There's no doubt about that. Okay. And not only did he say racist things, he actually, in the video that he was taped in, actually said, we're all a little racist. I guess I'm a little racist. So he admitted he's a racist in the video. That's damning. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing to say something racist, which is bad enough. But to admit, like, it's not like he just had a bad moment and something came out. No. Like, he admitted it. You know what I mean? But look, do I think they should have taken him out of the Hall of Fame and all that? No. Okay. He's in the Hall of Fame. Like, he's already there. But do I think it's a good move for WWE to bring him back and all that? Probably not. But WWE isn't making a lot of good moves lately. Right? From what I hear, some Black wrestlers are like they're cool with it, some are not cool with it, but um, they do work for a company that has used a lot of racial stereotypes about a lot of ethnicities, including blacks. So I'm not too sure if Hulk Hogan's the only issue that they got to worry about, but um, I will say that I just don't think WWE needs him back. First of all, they've had enough nostalgia acts. Second, I think he just overstayed his welcome, and I don't. You just can't. I'm not saying to condone the stuff Hulk Hogan said, but it's some. I mean, do you really need him back after all that? I don't know. All right. I know Hulk Hogan is saying he swears that's not him. Like he swears. You know what I mean? He's like, even my daughter, forgave me. But that's you and your daughter. You know what I mean? Like it's not about forgive or not. I'm just saying. Kim Laws wants to see WWE bring in Adrian Broner. Broner's too short. He's going to look extremely small next to Randy Orton. Okay. All right, WWE did well with Floyd. They did, but that was a one-off. And let's face it, Floyd's was just a bigger name than Adrian Broner ever will be. So, but it was a one-off thing. I don't think Adrian Broner honestly would even fit in WWE. I know a lot of people think like Adrian Broner's funny and all that, but I don't know. I've never watched something of Adrian Broner and said, "Oh my god." I mean, this dude is just on fire with what he's talking about. I've never seen it. So, I'm just saying. WWE did pretty good with the whole Floyd Mayweather thing and the Big Show, but it was a one-off, guys. Like Floyd couldn't have a career in WWE. You know what I mean? It was a one-time thing, and that's it. I did think it was funny how the entourage attacked the Big Show, and that whole thing was funny. But that's my answer, Jamie Chavez. I think Hulk Hogan just doesn't belong on TV anymore. That's it. No, I think part of the reason they want to bring him back is his ratings are terrible. WWE is having its worst ratings ever right now, and I'm not even watching it. The thing's so terrible. I don't even want to watch it. I could only watch something so much, even if I'm talking about it afterwards and all that. I just can't. I just can't put myself through that. It's horrible. It's horrible. All right. I heard they're gonna have Roman Reigns face Brock Lesnar again. I mean, it's just this company doesn't learn, man. They just don't learn. Kimala Shampard looks ridiculous when he questions Danny Garcia's resume because he sucks and he's fought his fair share at junior welterweights. Junior welterweights, but yeah, I think Danny Garcia's resume is pretty solid. So's Porter's though. I mean, Porter fell short, every time he tried to step up. It should be a good fight, though. I can't wait for Porter versus Danny Garcia. It's going to be a good fight. Jamie Chavez asked, what would you say was the most tasteless thing done in wrestling? Like, for example, ECW literally crucifying Raven. The most tasteless thing. There's a lot. Okay. The crucifying Raven thing. Look, man. ECW, just in general, a lot of people praise ECW, and there's some good things about ECW, but I wasn't a fan of the product. I'm going to be straight up honest. Right? I was a fan of some of the wrestlers. Right? I was a fan of some of the matches, but the product itself, just in general, was trash. But I think long term it hurt the business too. But the crucifying Raven things, like, are Christians really that sensitive about it? I mean, I'm just saying, right? But I guess you could say it was tasteless. But to me, the Oklahoma character in WCW, portraying Jim Ross, was pretty tasteless. All right, in my opinion. But there's a lot of stuff that were tasteless. You know what I mean? Like the Kiss My Ass Club by Vince was terrible. Right? I mean, he literally was having his employees kiss his ass, but because it's on a storyline, it's okay. All right. Kimala's WWE will never get back to the point when Stone Cold and The Rock were center stage. They'll never go back to that ever. They never will. Nothing's organic about this company anymore. 2 years ago, I thought like the Roman Reigns thing was overplayed, and they're still on it right now. It's what can you do? I don't know. Vince is hell bent on his Roman Reigns guy. It's his company. As long as he owns the company, there's nothing's going to stop it. He's out of touch. Vince McMahon is out of touch. Doesn't know what he's doing. He's an old man. Not anymore. He's lost his touch. See where you steer over here. Kimmel Oz. How much longer do you think Nicolas Maduro and Daniel Ortega will be able to repress Venezuela and Nicaragua, respectively? Why haven't we done more in terms of sanctions? We could put an oil embargo on Venezuela. Embargoes don't work. They don't work. In fact, I'll be honest with you. The United States, if I was president, I'm not qualified to be president, but let's say I was. Okay. If I was president, I would not do sanctions. Probably ever. Right. I wouldn't ever rule them out, but I wouldn't do sanctions, unless somehow it affected our country. It was for the country's best interest, right? What's going on in Venezuela doesn't impact us, right? And anything that does impact us south of the border is really our own doing, right? So, an embargo doesn't work. It didn't work with Cuba. Okay, it's not going to work with Venezuela. It's not. So, those are just my thoughts on that. Embargoes don't work. This country does dealings with Saudi Arabia and a bunch of other dictators, but it picks and chooses which dictators it's going to pick on. It's just that is a problem historically that this country's had, and I'll leave it at that as far as that goes. I think in my Showtime subscription, I am going to start watching the Who Is America show, by the way. I highly recommend, if I could get at least one more person to watch that show, I'm telling you, I recommend Who Is America. Watch it. And I heard it's going to get even more interesting. Like, more crazy shit's going to happen. More crazy shit, people. What do you think should be done, Kim Allahs, about Venezuela? What do you think? Now, speaking of south of the border, you want to battle. You want to battle these drug cartels. You want to stifle them immediately, like overnight, right? The first thing you do is you decriminalize drugs in the U.S. You decriminalize it, right? You make it legal. I think somebody should, if I think people should be able to grow their own freaking pot if they want. I mean, that's me. You know what I mean? A lot of people claim about, oh, I'm all for a free country, this, that, and the third, but they're against people, you know, planting their own fucking pot, all right? And I don't even smoke weed, by the way. I know when I advocate for legalizing marijuana, people are like, oh, this guy must. Like, I gotta be a weed head. You know what I mean? I gotta smoke weed. No, I don't. Right? DStyle smokes no weed. I'm just chill like that. Okay? But there's no way I'm gonna be drinking liquor and you know, alcohol in general, right? Which is dangerous and can impair your driving and, you know, handling machinery and stuff like that, right? A drug that, if you want to call it a drug, but it's, I guess technically it's not, but a substance that causes a lot of people to get violent, right? To do a lot of things that they regret, because that's what alcohol does, and it's legal, right? So how am I going to turn around, right, and tell somebody who likes smoking weed that, but you what you like to do, we're gonna criminalize that. In fact, I think you should go to jail for doing that drug, even though that drug is not proven at all to get anybody violent. Nobody could overdose on it, right? You know, it's just, that's just the truth, right? So, just saying. Let's see here. Kim Laws again. When I say oil embargo, I mean we don't buy Venezuelan oil. That's Maduro's only lifeline, and we're his biggest customers. We produce our own oil and get a lot from Canada. Well, we get a lot from the Middle East too, by the way. But I'm just saying it would make us hypocritical. Like, if you don't mind me asking, why specifically do you want to stop buying oil from Venezuela? If you don't mind me asking, I just want to know the specific reason why, and what do you think that's going to accomplish? And what repercussions that can have for the people of Venezuela, if any? You know what I mean? So I probably know more about it than me. That's why I'm asking. But just so I could give you a better answer. But I'm just saying. And while you're on that, why should, like, thinking about the reason why we should? I mean, it's, we buy oil from the Middle East, from the Saudis. Like, I don't care how bad Venezuela is, okay? They're nowhere near as bad as Saudi Arabia in terms of human rights violations, in terms of what they're doing to other countries, blockading other countries, bombing other countries. So I'm not too sure that we are in a position to put moral authority and say, well, we're not going to do business with you anymore because you're bad, but we're going to keep doing business with this other country that's worse. So Kim Malal says the problem with Venezuela is that there's so much malnutrition and hunger there that's created a refugee crisis that's overwhelmed Colombia, Brazil, and Guyana, destabilizing them. I lived for 5 years in Costa Rica and Nicaragua. I'm not saying I know more than you. I'm not saying you claim you know more than me. I said you probably know more about this specific topic than me, which you probably do, right? I don't follow Venezuela that closely, to be honest with you, but Asad Prince is reforming his country, though. Well, he's reforming it in terms of let's hold on the Saudi Arabia thing before I trail off really quick. So regarding the, you know, humanitarian crisis being caused by Venezuela, I mean, I got to be 100% honest with you, okay? Before I go into a tangent, I haven't really looked into that much, okay? So, but what I will say is, let's say we do an oil embargo, right? and we stop purchasing so much oil from Venezuela, and we create sanctions with the purpose of that is so to limit other countries from doing the same thing, from replacing us or subsidizing part of at least what we were purchasing from them, right? That would be the purpose of a sanction. But um, I'm not sure how that's going to help the humanitarian problem, you know, other than, hurting the dictator, personally, which you can argue. I could see why somebody might say, well, that's a good enough reason. But I just don't see how that's going to help. That might make the problem worse. I got to admit, I have to look into it more, but it just sounds like it would make the problem worse. That's. As far as Saudi prince, are they really reforming it though? Like it's like they're like I don't know about that. Like you know what I mean? It's like WWE. Since we were talking about them, right? Did an event there, and the women weren't allowed to be there. You know, like I'm not too sure like how reformed it is, right? And are women gonna be able to start driving in Saudi Arabia? See, when I see women driving in Saudi Arabia, right? When I see them get rid of ridiculous laws like there has to be like three witnesses or some bullshit. If you're raped to find the man guilty, right? You cannot be in the same room or vicinity with another man unless it's your husband. Or when they get rid of dumb laws like that, then I'll listen a little more. When they stop executing people by beheading them, then I'll listen a little more. You know what I mean? When they start punishing people just because they're atheists, then I'll listen a little more. But as of right now, full reformation is from if turning the country around is from LA to New York, I think the new Saudi prince has reformed it by 10 feet. Right. So yes, it's going towards the right direction, but we still have a ways to go. All right, let's see, Jamie Chavez. Would you say the Mexican cartels are the most evil people on earth? The shit they do is insane. Well, there's a lot of evil people in the world, man. The cartels are pieces of shit. Okay, that's without a doubt, right? They do a lot of crazy shit. Now, can't paint with a broad brush. I think there's a lot of people in the cartels that want out, but the circumstances put them there. But the things they have done, man, till this day, I even have friends that just look up to dudes like Chapo. Like it's insane. Like it's crazy to me. I don't get it, right? And they always do this straw man where they're like, "Well, what about the corrupt government of Mexico?" Well, it's like I get it. The government's corrupt, but the drug cartels' power has a lot to do with that, right? Like this idea that because the government's corrupt and the cartels are better is kind of crazy to me, right? Like it honestly is. Yes, police in Mexico are corrupt, right? They are, right? And they're bought out, and in many cases, they're overpowered by the cartels. They know who their daddy is. They know who the boss is, right? So they are some evil people, right? They'll literally go into funerals and shoot them up. It's crazy, and the amount of people that will defend these drug cartels it's I don't even know what to say sometimes, right? I have a cousin of mine that argues with me all the time that the drug cartels are the good guys, that they're good people, Look, good people don't shoot up, a bunch of kids, right? And they always use the lame excuse that, well, they didn't mean to kill the kids. It was they were just caught in the crossfire. Well, that's a lot of kids to be caught in the crossfire, right? A lot. By the way, when the corrupt government of Mexico has students protesting disappear, who do you think does that dirty work? Who do you think does that dirty work? The cartels do, right? When they burn up those bodies and shit, the cartels do that. Cartels don't just execute people too. Like they make examples out of them, right? They rule with fear. That's how they rule, right? So they're terrible people. That's it. Let me see here. Let me go back up. AJ10 in the house. Kimala, actually, the Venezuelan refugee crisis is destabilizing most of South America and even the Caribbean. Well, I will say this, that this is not one of the only things, but it's definitely shows you a lot about the American press, man, that they're not covering this at all, right? And me, I've been concentrating like on the Middle East, and I'm way over there, like like where we are bombing people, and you know, I'm like all over the place as far as that goes. The pipelines that they put in here, and the you know, just the connections with just our military industrial complex, you know. But I have heard, of course, that they're thinking about forgetting embargo here. I think I have heard that there's some talks. The Rawhawks in the Pentagon, you know, have been thinking about or preparing a possible invasion of Venezuela, which would be terrible. That's a horrible idea. I hope they don't do it, right? But yeah, Venezuela's a mess. It's probably in a bigger mess now than I thought it was. Okay. But thanks for bringing it up to my attention. I really got to look that up, like in all sincerity. All right. AJ10 WD did an event in Saudi Arabia. Yes, they did. They called it the Greatest Royal Rumble. Kamalas, I've got loads of Venezuelan and Colombian friends. That's why this topic is interesting to me. Also, I lived in Nicaragua, and Ortega and Maduro are very close and have similar regressive measures. Gotcha. Women can now drive in Saudi Arabia. Well, they've been able to drive for a while, right? But it's not something culturally accepted, right? The Crown Prince changed that, did he? All right. Main boxing biker, DStyle. I'm Guyanese. A lot of Spanish countries surround my country. Brazil, Suriname, etc. The drug cartel is crazy, but it comes from the government. They allow most of the BS. Yeah, this definitely the government is corrupt. It was corrupted by these forces. You know, that's why they allow it, right? Because anybody who stands up to them, los amenazan, okay? They threaten their lives and their families' lives. It's a 3-step process, okay? When it comes to the cartels, right? If they deal with somebody that stands up to them, the first thing they do is they try to pay them off, right? Most of the time, paying them off works, right? At that point, they know, okay, I got their attention. I don't know if I want to get any other type of attention, okay? The second thing, all right, they do is they threaten to kill you. Most of the time, that works, right? 3, if that doesn't work, they threaten to kill your loved ones. Okay, you're not scared? Okay, well we're going to kill and rip your wife then. How about that? All right? In some cases, they do all the above, right? Except they won't pay you. You'll be dead, right? Kimala, if things don't improve in Nicaragua, there will be another refugee crisis that will overwhelm Central America. There will be a lot of more death and despair. A lot of deaths. A lot of my friends think AMLO is another Hugo Chavez, and there's talk that he could change policy vis-a-vis the cartels, returning to a hands-off approach rather than confrontation. Well, we look at the Mexican government, for example. Do they really have a confrontation situation right now with drug cartels? Like if you look at Ciudad Juarez, which is right next to me, okay. Whenever, like, when the federales, okay, kind of took over the city, right? Basically, the federal government. It's crazy, but it was like an all-out war, right? Like there was more deaths in a day, okay, in Juarez than there was, and I mean murders, right? Than there was in El Paso, Texas, all year, right? It was at one point the most dangerous city in the world, which I wouldn't even know it, right? If unless I saw it in the news or read it in the newspaper, right? Unless I knew people that live there, right, that experienced it, I wouldn't even know living here because it's a whole nother world. Like you cross the border, it's a whole nother world, right? Now my point is, all that was due to escalation because they were trying to crack down on the drug cartels, right? So the drug cartels were fighting back, and the drug cartels are well armed, right? You know, it's not like it's some in some cases it wasn't even a fair fight. Police chiefs were getting shot up like left and right. Nobody wanted to be a police chief. They tried making like a 15-year-old girl a police chief. They shot her too, right? Like, they're not going to shoot a 15-year-old girl. Pff, done. They killed her, right? Now, in that particular case, I don't know if that was Juarez or that was another border town, but it was just a story that I read about. Okay, in fairness. I didn't personally see it, but there was bodies hanging right at the border of politicians that was, quote unquote, standing up to the drug cartels, right? Now, a lot of the violence started to die down recently, right? It started to die down a lot. So, and it's not because they beat the cartels. It's because they came to an agreement, pretty much, maybe a silent agreement over time, that trying to fight them off is only causing more chaos and killing than just accepting the fact that they're going to be around. Okay, it's just the way it is. Okay, no other way around it, right? So in a way, at the moment, if you live in Mexico, you're better off living amongst a corrupt government than a government trying to fight off the drug cartels. You know, depending on how you look at it. In the long run, 20, 30 years from now, I don't know. But in the short term, you're just better off that way. Black Latin Season saying, what up? Invading Venezuela is a horrible idea, to say AJ10. Yes, it is. Okay, main boxing biker says, my country is mostly Indians, blacks, and Ahome Spanish due to Brazil. I'm from Guyana, raised in Brooklyn, New York, though. Gotcha. Where are you now? Where are you right now? Kamalas, Trump publicly floated the idea of invading Venezuela, but it was firmly rebutted by Republicans and those Latin American governments closest to America. Black Lancy says, I thought the Mexican cartels owned the government. They pretty much do. Not officially, but they do. Right? Okay, Boxing Fan says, did anyone ask you already about your thoughts on Mikey Garcia performance last night? Well, I did a video about it, by the way. You guys can check that out. My post-fight thoughts. I think Mikey Garcia looked great. I think he looked phenomenal. All right. A lot of people giving Robert Easter a hard time, and you know, but he was just in there against a better fighter. That's it. Robert Easter could train for the rest of his life. He'll never beat Danny Garcia. Mikey Garcia, I'm sorry. Tax says to Black Caesar, they do, bro. Kidnapping high-ranking government officials and murders of family members. It's crazy. Kimalaws, the EU, Canada, America, and other countries have sanctions on Maduro, and there's been a lot of ambassadors ordered out of Caracas, and countries have fallen suit. Tact. My elite timing is crazy. Great timing. All right, Mikey. Yeah. Mikey's timing is crazy. Really good timing. Okay, main boxing is in. He's in Brooklyn, New York. All right. Venezuela's a mess, man. It's like always been a mess. You know what I mean? But maybe I underestimated the crisis. I'll be honest. All right. I'm not going to be hearing bullshit. Yeah, the crisis. Yeah, I knew all about it. Like I'm not going to act like I did. Um, like I knew there was issues there, but yeah, I got to look into that. Who you got at 147? Mikey Garcia or Danny Garcia? The battle of the Garcias. I'm not gonna lie though. I think Mikey Garcia beats Danny Garcia. I really, really do. Like, look at the first Morales fight. Morales was old and had love handles and was way too small for that weight, for the 140 weight class when he fought Danny Garcia there. And just his IQ alone kept him in the fight, even though he was way out of his prime, out of his element, right? Mikey Garcia's in his prime. You know what I mean? Um, Danny would feel those punches a lot more. I think Mikey will box circles around him, to be honest. I think he'll box his ears off. And Danny Garcia also has that nose that can. That he has a bleeder nose, right? He'll be bleeding from his mouth after round two. Himalayas. Mikey Garcia stepped up to the plate to fight Spence, speaks highly of him, and puts welterweights to shame. Oh, is he brave or is he a fool? I don't know. But he has guts though. David Chavez, your favorite wrestler of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart. Tact. That's a good question. Danny may be a little too big for him. I think he's a little too slow. I think he's too slow. I think Mikey Garcia will have his timing down. I got Mikey. Haplotype in the house. I mean, Boxing Biker says, for crying out loud, Danny Garcia got worked by Mauricio Herrera. Yep. Bad Adam says, I don't know, Mikey jumping up 2 more weight classes. Well, his power carry. I think it's crazy to just jump in there against Spence. He should go in there and fight a top 15 guy, test the waters a little bit. But I agree, he's crazy for doing it. But I think he beats Danny Garcia, though. Danny's left hook will kill Mikey. I mean, the left hook is vicious. I'll give him that. It's a little wide. It's I think Mikey can avoid it. I'll be honest. I think Mikey will time him, and it'll be a long night for Danny. Well, the winner of Danny has good timing too, says Blackland. It's all right. Kim Laws, well, the winner of Canelo Golovkin 2, Duck Jamal Charlo. WBC mandatory, probably. Probably will. Shit, Golovkin might retire if he beats Canelo, right? Like, I'm done. Peace, right? Canelo, if he wins, I don't know, man. The WBC won't force Canelo to do shit. James Chavez, you think Chris Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame? No. I'm usually like an advocate for don't let things outside of what you did, right? Whether it's a sport or wrestling, whatever it is, don't let something outside of it influence what you did in that sport or in wrestling in this case. I don't like referring to wrestling as a sport because it's not. That's why. So, but just trying to make my point. But what I will say is, what Benoit did was so terrible. And for those that don't know, I mean, he suffocated his son and he strangled his wife, both of them to death, and then he committed suicide, right? And while I am aware of the condition of his brain, and I'm aware of all that, what he did though was so terrible that I just don't see him in any Hall of Fame. I'm being very honest, and I don't care who it is, right? Like, this is gonna sound crazy, but if Michael Jordan had done that to his family, he should be out of the Basketball Hall of Fame, right? Like, so a lot of people will disagree, but I just, what Benoit did was just, it's too much. It's too much to overlook. I could overlook Pete Rose gambling. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, okay, he gambled. All right, get him in the Hall of Fame, right? I can overlook, like, you know, like, oh, T.O. is outside antics. Yeah, whatever. The dude's a Hall of Famer, okay? Like, it's like, I don't like to be strict on that type of shit, but what Benoit did was just over the top. All right, Happy time. Mikey versus Daniel would be a good fight. I favor Mikey. Me too. I got Mikey. 8-10. Mikey should fight Amir Khan at 147. Knock him out. Call out Spence. Mikey Garcia versus Amir Khan would be a really good fight. Khan might give him trouble for a couple rounds. All right. I know we all, myself included, we all make fun of Khan, but up until he gets clipped, I mean, he's usually, like, in many cases, like, he's ahead in the cards, right? Like he was whooping on Danny Garcia, then he got clipped, and it was over. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good fight. Mikey versus Amir Khan. Kimalah's biggest lie. GGG's claim to be all about the belts, or AJ and the 50 million fight, 50 million to fight Wilder. Oh, the AJ easily. Give me 50 million and I'll fight you. Okay, here's your 50 million. No, all right. So Lopez, 40 ounce. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I have no idea. Probably chicken, but then how the chicken came to be, I don't know. I have no idea. Blackland says, no AD. I hope Canelo doesn't lose to Triple G. I hate Triple G for ducking 168. Calling out Floyd, Manu, and Canelo, 3 smaller fighters. I mean, I'm not excusing what Triple G did, but I mean, Anthony Joshua's 50 million. This is 50. Like, you could have given Gennady, like, if they offered Gennady Golovkin 50 million to fight Andre Ward, he would have done it. Okay. He would have fought him for $50 million. He would have fought him. Right? Like, I've never heard of it, like, $50 million. Okay. Chimalas, I think the women in Monterrey and Tamaulipas are the most beautiful in Mexico. I haven't been all around all Mexico, but to a lot of it. Thoughts? Mexico has a lot of beautiful women. Yeah. Acapulco, right? Women there are pretty hot, right? I couldn't tell you, like, which location. Like, I don't know, but yeah, Navos. There are people out there that think Benoit was killed and set up. I mean, I guess anything is possible in this world, but I think what it was is he was delusional, right? I think he was hearing voices or something. His brain was all messed up from wrestling. He was probably on steroids and painkillers and all types of shit, and he did what he did. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of depressing when you think about it, what he did. Like, it really is. But no, I don't think he was set up. Blackland says Bud Crawford is still pressing Errol Spence. I love it. Burley wants Spence, bro. Pound for pound king. By the way, like, you know how, like, Mikey Garcia, right? Like, Spence was there. Like, he was at the fight. right? And when Mikey Garcia called him out, like Spence was right there. Like he did a post fight. He was doing interviews. Like, oh yeah, I'm down. You know, oh yeah, I want to fight Mikey. Like he's like immediately. Well, why wasn't he there for Crawford's last fight? And why isn't he immediately available afterwards, saying, "Oh yeah, I'll fight Crawford"? You know, but you know, a lot of Errol Spence fans on here, right? And look, I'm a fan of Errol Spence. Don't get me wrong, but he's not beating Crawford. Okay, it ain't gonna happen. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. Kim Laws, you think Khan is serious when he says he wants to fight Spence and Crawford? Yeah, I have no reason not to believe Khan. Hey, look, man, we could question his chin all day. Okay, Khan's chin is horrible, right? And we can make fun of him when he gets knocked out. I'm all for it. But what you can't question is the dude has heart. Okay. Like Khan really does want to fight all these guys, you know? And I think he really does believe he could beat him. Spence will sleep Khan, right? Crawford will actually embarrass Khan. It's I don't mean just by knocking him out. I think he'll stop Khan, but I think it's the first time you'll see Khan really not get any offense going if he fights Crawford. You know, that Khan will get thoroughly outboxed and then knocked out or TKO'd. Haplotape. Mikey Price last night that the sweet science is real. He overcame vast physical disadvantages with timing and accuracy. He should not have been able to beat a guy like that Easter, but yet he did. He did prove it. Yeah. Blackland says, "You sure, D-Style? Triple G seemed to want no part of SOG. For $50 million, I think he would have fought him. Right? I really do. Like, I agree he wanted no parts, but if they offered him $50 million, he'd take it. I'm telling people, Joshua declining to $50 million is the biggest duck ever, right? Riddick Bowe would have fought Lennox Lewis for half of that $50 million, okay? He would have done. He would have fought him for $25 million. For $50 million, for sure, all right? All right, Kim Laws, both Crawford and Spence know what they that they won't be fighting anytime soon. Black Latin says, "I never heard that theory on Benoit. I just heard that he was mentally gone, hardcore drugs and roids." Yeah. Okay, main boxing biker damn style. I think I found the one thing we disagree on. I think Spence do beat Crawford. Look, man, I don't think somebody picking Spence over Crawford, I don't think you're crazy. Like, I don't think it's like, oh my God, how could he possibly believe that? You know, it's a good fight. It's not an easy fight for Crawford, but I honestly believe Crawford in the end would win. I think he would win that fight. Kim Law's Bob Arum said Crawford Spence won't happen until he can put it on pay-per-view. No need to hype up a fight that won't happen. Well, there goes that. Does Bob Arum want to build a stadium for it too? Does anybody remember that shit? When that we can't make the fight yet because we have to build a stadium. Like, it's that tops. Not even Eddie Hearn has topped that one. Okay, not Eddie Hearn, not yet. Okay, they haven't topped it yet, but that one's tops. That is the most ridiculous excuse. And if anybody knows a better excuse than that to like prolong a fight, we have to build a stadium, right? Then you let me know. But to me, that was the most ridiculous shit ever. Speaking of Bob Arum. Novels to Black Latin, yeah, bro. There are quite a few people that think that the fact that he died on Saturday, but a text was sent from his phone to Chavo on Sunday. Phone was never found by the police. Interesting. I didn't know about that, by the way, but gotta look into it. Anytime, Slim 5, AJ 10. How much would Eddie Hearn had to pay D-Style to turn his channel into an AJ fanboy channel. Look, man, right? Eddie Hearn. If you see D-Style all of a sudden, right? Like if you see me like on a yacht, like doing YouTube hangouts, all out of nowhere, but I'm all like pro AJ, then you guys don't know I got paid. Okay. Like I'll make it very obvious that I got paid. Like I won't say I got paid, but like you'll know, right? Like you'll see like all of a sudden, like I have intros and I'm in Miami Beach on Saturday, okay, doing a post fight, and then on Sunday I'm back home, and then all of a sudden I'm in Hawaii on Monday, right? Like I'm sipping on a martini, okay, instead of a beer in Hawaii, okay, talking about boxing, then you'll know I got paid, all right? And I'll be saying all I'll do is just say everything that Hearn says. And I'll say it, and I'll try to say it with a straight face too. Like, no, but we have to make the fight in England because in England it makes the most sense because it just does. Anyway, let's see here. Miguel Mondragon says, who you have winning the Copa America next year? Will Messi finally win? Will Messi play? That's probably Messi's last chance, by the way. Messi will never have another international shot again. If he plays for Argentina in 4 years, which he can, I don't think he's going to be as good as he was. So he'll probably be coming off the bench, okay? But or he won't be the star player anyway. But to answer your question, probably Brazil or Uruguay. I'll say Uruguay or Brazil. And I have a low place, the business in the Bud versus Spence debate on Dan's channel. You were there, Styles. Bud would win. I think Arrow knows that. There you go, Jamie Chavez. You think a Mikey win over Spence is more impressive than Mayweather's 154 wins over De La Hoya and Cotto? Yes. Would that be more impressive? In my opinion, yeah. If Mikey Garcia beats Spence right now, yeah, and the only reason I'm saying that is because, and I'm not downplaying Mayweather's wins against Cotto and De La Hoya. I think they were great wins, but they weren't in their prime anymore. And I mean, just keeping it real. That they were not in the prime anymore. So Spence is in his prime, right? Also, Mayweather went into those fights as a favorite, Like, there's a lot of people laughing. The consensus is, man, the kid's got balls, but man, he's going to get destroyed, right? Jamie Chavez, are you convinced, like most boxing fans today, that Pacquiao was on PEDs during his prime? I suspect he was. Circumstantial evidence points to me that he was. The way he reacted to, or his camp and his people reacted to, doing blood testing, is very suspicious to me. It was at the time, and it is now. I mean, the excuses that the Pacquiao camp was using at that time, refusing to do drug testing, it just wouldn't stand today. It just wouldn't, right? You couldn't tell a fighter today, hey, let the commission do their job. Let them do the drug testing. Okay, we're just going to fight, right? That wouldn't stand today, right? Kemal, so you agree with me that it's likely that the winner of Canelo Triple G will drop the belts and won't want any parts of Andrade Saunders winner, especially if it's Boo Boo Andrade, right? I think they're more likely to fight the winner of this fight, Andrade and Saunders, than they are Charlo. I'll be honest. I don't know if they'll fight. I just don't know. With Canelo and Gennady Golovkin, I just don't know. Right? Canelo likes to it's Canelo's like he'll eventually fight who he has to fight, but um, I have no idea. I don't know if they'll fight the winner of that fight. Kamalas remembers that stadium shit. Yeah, build a stadium for a fight that failed to deliver. Black Lennon. Yeah, Arab said the fight won't be made until we can build a stadium made out of popsicle sticks. Kamalas predictions on David Benavides, Anthony Durrell, Caleb Plant, uh, Jose Takiragui, and Andrade Sanders. Andrade Sanders, I got Saunders winning that fight. David Benavides, Anthony Durrell. It's a tough fight. The Plant and the Jose one, I have no idea, to be honest. But Benavides, Durrell, man. I'm going to go with Benavides, but that's going to be a tough fight. I got Spence over Crawford. What? All right. Tact. Saint Sticks. What the fuck? AJ10, the Copa America is in Brazil. Huge advantage to Brazil. So that means they'll probably get their ass kicked in the semifinal, right? AJ10, and Mikey beat Spence. Would it be comparable to Mosley beating De La Hoya at 147? Yeah. Yeah, why not? I think Mosley didn't Mosley fight it once or twice at 147 though before he fought De La Hoya? Trying to remember, but the other thing is that Mikey, he didn't start at 135. You know what I mean? So, and he's not like a huge 135 guy either. But yeah, people forget, man, that Mosley fighting De La Hoya 147 was pretty impressive. Kimalas at the time. Gerald Big Baby Miller had AJ so shook during the zone press conference that he sold his pants and had to change. Depends. You really think so? I think the whole thing was staged, to be honest with you, but that's my opinion. I think they staged it. Great Giant, do you think Trump gets has second term? Probably will, yes. Trump more than likely, I'll give him like a 70% chance he gets reelected. I would say. The reason for that is because the Democrats don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. But I think Republicans are losing the House and the Senate. They'll probably, I don't know, they'll lose it completely this time around, but they'll make ground. I don't know about the Senate, but there's a good chance for the House. Although, well, depends. But I think by 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, I think the Democrats will be in control of the Senate and the House. Hulk Hogan, what up? Finally, a D-Style Q&A has returned. Get Drank. Modern boxing is becoming more and more boring to me. The skill level isn't what it used to be. Not overall, no. Kim Alas, I think Canelo will fight Soda Popinski after Golovkin, win or lose. Spike O'Sullivan. Hulk Hogan, does Mikey have enough speed and quickness to challenge Spence? I think it's going to be a tougher fight than people think. I got Spence winning it, but I think it's going to be tougher than people think. Right? Like I think there's people that think Spence is going to blow him out. That's not what's going to happen. But see, Jamie Chavez Mosley had a few fights at 147, I think, and started at 135 while Mikey started at 126. Good point. Great Drank. Shane Mosley had a fight at 147 before challenging Oscar. Mosley was also a natural welterweight to begin with. I just think that Mikey needs to take a tune-up at 147 to know what the hell he's getting himself into. Just what I think. All right. What do you guys think? You think I'm right? You think Trump's going to get reelected? Trust me, that's not coming from a, that's what I want. That's not, I'm just saying. That's not what I want, but I'm just saying, he's probably going to get reelected. Um, unless he's out of office before then, but and by the way, again, I'm not saying I want him to have a second term, right? 70% sounds about right. Like he could lose, you know what I mean? But kept trying exactly. He knocked out Willow Eyes just before fighting De La Hoya. Was it Willow Eyes? Right. Kim allows Mikey should fight Devin Alexander or Luis Colazo as a tune-up before Spence. Man, Luis Colazo was a tough fight, man, as your first fight at welterweight. Alexander, yeah, why not? Whatever happened to the wall? And most people kind of agree he's going to get a second term. Hulk Hogan, I think Mikey shouldn't take a tune-up. Losing to Spence isn't a big deal, but losing to some other welterweight would be a waste of time, I think. Well, that's true. All right, let's see here. Hey, D-Style, do you think highly of Spence? I don't think Mikey possesses the power to hurt or deter him. I think Mikey's punches are crisp and sharp enough to keep you honest. He's not 5-7 weight classes above Mikey. He's just 2 weight classes above him. I think he'll keep him honest, but it'll be a good fight. I think Spence wins in the end, but I think it's a tougher fight than people think. Trump will win, says Hulk Hogan. Jamie Chavez, Roberto Wall. Is that going up or not? I don't know. Probably not. I don't think the border wall is ever going to go up. I think Trump likes to use it as for political purposes. Y'all, please don't speak on that second term into existence. Mike Garcia versus Marquez at 135. Who would win? Damn. I got Marquez. It's a good fight, though. Really good fight. Not right now, but I mean, if we're talking about the Marquez when he was reigning, the Marquez that beat Casa Mayor, that Marquez, I got Marquez winning. All right. He doesn't think Danny Garcia have what it takes. I was waiting for Bernie for a time, but the dude's too old now. The Democrats don't want Bernie. They're not going to allow Bernie to be the nominee. It's not going to happen. And the reason Trump's going to win, in my opinion, is because his base is not moving. Right? His policies hurt his own supporters, and they don't care. In normal times, if your policies hurt voters, they would punish you for it. It's not happening here. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, but it's weird. We will look back at these times and be like, damn, what were those people thinking? A good example is the farmers, right? He enacted some trade policies, and because of this, the farmers in America started hurting. Farmers should be punishing them, but instead, you hear things like, "Oh, it is hurting me. It's hurting my business, but I'm being patient because I'm in it in the long run for Trump." And then he's subsidizing them with our taxpayer money, giving. He's going to do socialism. Okay, he's going to take $12 billion of taxpayer money and give it to a few farmers. Right? Kimalaz, what were the circumstances of Hogan's racist tirade? Was his daughter dating a black guy and he didn't approve? Worse, worse than Dog the Bounty Hunter and Kramer's N bombs? Well, first, yes. His daughter Brooke was dating a black guy and he did not approve. And that was definitely the circumstance behind his racist tirade, yes. Blackland says Bernie's too old now. Well, Bernie's the same age as Trump. I think he's like 2 years older than Trump. So, I actually misread your comment. He's not too old. So I got you. Okay, Hulk Hogan. I remember a time Chavez was going to fight Terry Norris at 147. Who would have won? Norris. 147 it just wasn't for Chavez. The truth. Shout out to DStyle. What up? Kim Laws, Robert Mueller may find collusion though. The noose could be tightened around him. AC-10, Donald Trump could have a sex tape leak and it would not affect his voting base. His voting base is not going to move, guys. I'm telling you. If the economy crashes, they will move. They'll say it's a conspiracy by the deep state to crash the economy and hurt Donald Trump's chances for being elected. That's what they'll say. And everybody knows it too. Main boxing biker. I think you guys are not understanding that Spence is a solid at the weight, and Mikey and Crawford would have to show us that they are that fit and solid to be able to sustain the attack of Spence. I mean, I hear you, but I think Crawford will do just fine. I don't think it's. I think Crawford wins that fight. It's a tough fight. Don't get me wrong, but I think Mikey will be in it for about 5-6 rounds. I really do. Blackland believes the main boxing is overrated Spence. Joe Lopez 40 ounce. A lot of former wrestlers just like Hogan. What was Chavez Sr. best weight class? I'd say 130, 140. I'd say 135, 140. Kimmel Oz. Trump's trade and spending policies are anti-free market, but the supposedly free market Republicans are too scared of the base to speak out against him. And his own base, I just, it's astonishing. There's no other way to put it. They are authoritarian. They're authoritarians. Like whatever their dear leader says, they believe, and that's it. There's no other way to put it. I think Chavez would have got inside, and Norris had a weak chin. It's a good fight. Don't get me wrong. I just think because it's a 147, it would favor Norris. I think. The truth. Do you think the best chance the Democrats have is Bernie, as they already tried Hillary and it didn't work? Bernie definitely has a better chance than another corporate Democrat, but that's what they're going to give us. So, Blackland Seas says that's because Hogan was a rat. He ran to Vince McMahon and told him what the wrestlers were going to form a union. Damn. Hear that, Hogan? You seen the new Dragon Ball Z Broly movie trailer? No, I haven't. Yeah, I saw the interview where Jesse Ventura talked about wrestlers trying to go to a union. And Hogan didn't want a union. Why would he want a union? He was getting 90% of the profits. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I've been here for about an hour. All right. Okay, Maine is asking Black Latin, who do you think at 147 can beat Spence? Crawford. Although I would favor Spence, Thurman can beat him, but I think Spence would win. Black Latin agrees. Terence Crawford versus Pernell Whitaker at 140. Yes, AG10. That's a good fight. I would slightly go with Pernell Whitaker, but it's a tough one. You're a rat, brother. Don't mess with Hulkamania. Kim Laws is the reason why Trump likes Kim Jong-un, the Chinese dictator, and put in so much authoritarian tendencies. It's crazy, man. Like, you should read. Like, it's just it's crazy. It is. All right, y'all got to show me. I need to see proof that they can beat Spence. Well, the only way is they actually fight. They got to fight. Black Latins, Bud wins the close fight versus Pernell. He could, yeah. Pernell might be a little too defensive to get points on Crawford, so I could see it. I said, damn dude's got to show me. I think Crawford will show you when they actually fight. By the way, the longer Spence waits, the harder time he's going to have making weight, by the way. So I know what he's waiting for. Bud keeps calling him out. Spence don't want it, says Black Latin. And those guys that do got to roll. All right. Thanks again for joining me, guys. I don't want to start yawning in the middle of this. I am tired. All right, but thanks to those that joined me live and those that joined me on archive. This is DStyle, and I am out of here. Peace.